Some things I wanted to share about a narcissistic, wrongful, arrogant mother. Sorry about the sun shining in through my sliding glass doors, but this is the best place for me to sit. It's where my workstation is set up. I love my mother, but this is a story people need to hear. You know, to understand what a narcissistic individual is like, the arrogance of a narcissistic person. They believe they are significant humans, but many of them, as in what would be a sociopath, they believe others are less significant than what they are. And I have always loved my mother, and I would go on to say, my mother, the first 8 years of my life, was very nurturing for me. And you know, for my personal person. I mean, but I think that was lost with her later on because more things caught her attention. She became a self person, and she began to become a materialistic person, like loving new cars, fancy cars, you know, things of that nature. Okay, my mother married my father, which was her first husband, in 1952. I was born in 1956, so I am age 62 at present at the time I made this video today. Alright, my mother was married to my father. She had me and 2 sisters. Alright, and it was in the year 1967 when I was age 11. She began cheating on my father and chasing teenagers. And she was actually using my sister Gloria, that was only 14 at the time, to help introduce her to high school boys, and she would chase them in a new car that my father bought for her in 1967. So, this car was a 1967 Mercury Coupe. Okay. After she had cheated on him, I would say about 6 months, she wrecked that car one night when she was drunk. Alright, and when she was in the hospital, my dad, just to be checked out for minor bruises and abrasions, my dad said, "You are not coming back home. I am not going to let you in this house." So what she chose, she said, "Well, I can come back, you cannot throw me out." And he told her, he said, "I will tell." Gloria said she would give me the names of those teenage boys you've been messing with. "I will tell their parents and the authorities." And at this time she said, okay, I will agree with you. And she didn't come back into that house. I still loved my mother. And at age 11, I was very aware of my surroundings and what was real. You know, in other words, a person couldn't say, white is black, yellow is green. They could not say that to me, and me not know the difference. Okay. Now, as time went on, my mother had to move this was in Houston, Texas. She had to move in with her mother that lived in this small town in mid-central Texas called Cisco, Texas. C-I-S-C-O, Cisco, Texas. Alright, and she had to be a waitress, of course. You know, she lived a very mediocre life. And then she rented a small house, which back then was very, very cheap based on the area. It might have been $80 a month, a one-bedroom house. at another small town 21 miles from Cisco called Rising Star. She worked at a truck stop. Okay, and then I moved down there where she was when I was age 13, which this was the year 1969. But while she was working as a waitress, she meets a man that is an Air Force sergeant paratrooper. And he had been injured in the military to where he had a limp. So he was on permanent pay disability at the time from the U.S. government, and the amount was very hefty for that time back in 1969, to where he had so much money. He was actually mortgaging 88.5 acres out in the country, and actually had his own ranch that he was mortgaging, you know, with cattle on it. Okay, and he drove a farm pickup. I believe it was a 68 Chevy pickup, you know. And she married him. And I agreed that she should, because I liked him. I liked him. You know, he was very friendly. He was very considerate to me. He would even offer to take me places he would go, you know, in the area. And I liked him. And she married him, so we moved out to his ranch that was 9 miles from Rising Star. So it was a ranch between Cisco and Rising Star. Upon her marrying him, he immediately bought her a brand new 1969 Malibu. V8, fully loaded with all the gizmos and goodies, you know, all that. Alright, we lived there for about 3 years. I was very, very happy, very happy. And she's like, I don't want to live here anymore. I want a house that's close to my mother in Cisco. Buy me another house. Well, this man, Richard, that was my stepfather, he was too giving, I believe, too giving. It's like, okay, Sandra. So he puts his ranch up for sale. And he didn't get that much equity because he had only had it like 3-4 years, you know. But, you know, he had enough backstop capital, and with that equity, he paid cash for her and him a house in Cisco, Texas, close to her mother, within a block or so, okay, just to suit her fancy. I didn't like this move, and he didn't. I loved the country. I loved the cows, the animals, you know, our crop. I loved it. And see, that ripped me out from under that. But okay, you know, it was her husband. She was his wife. All right, as soon as they get to Cisco, that Malibu wasn't even quite 2 years old. I don't like this car anymore. I want another new one. So she sees an ad in a magazine, the 71 Ford Torino, V8, cruise control, 4-wheel disc brakes, all the gizmos. And back then, the 71 Torino was a 2-door car, but it was longer than a full-size car is today. That was quite a car. For an intermediate, it was quite a car. I mean, okay, so it's like, okay, I'll buy you that new Torino. So he does that. And then it's in the year 1974. She kicks me the day I turned 18, on my birthday, damn it, on my birthday. She's like, you don't have a job right now, and I was attending college even. You don't have a job, get out of this house right now. Oh my God, my own mother did this to me. So I had no choice but to come to Houston, Texas, where I reside now, and live with my dad, you know. Because I'd been going to college. I didn't have any job, craft, skills, or trade at that time. My God. And then guess what she does? As soon as I leave, she goes to my stepdad again. I'm tired of that Torino. I want a new Ford Galaxy 4-door. So he says, okay. So then he goes and buys her a brand new 74 Galaxy 4-door. And then she says, I want a CB radio in it. That way she could just get out. She didn't work the whole time after she got married to him. I forgot to mention that. She'd just drive around the county all the time and play on the CB radio. And I got kicked to the curb. I had to come live here and quit the vocational college I was attending completely. That was based on the government was paying for my schooling, but I had to actually walk away from it and then restart things once I got to Houston. You know, and see, that was the second house she had right there. Okay. Now listen to this. Then time goes on, you know, a couple of years. And it's like the year 1977, 3 years later. I don't want this house anymore because I don't get along with my mother. So she says, I want to move maybe out in the area by where your parents live, Richard. And he said, okay, I'll do it. See, he was a complete pushover. I mean, the poor guy. And so he buys her a house in Hamilton, Texas. A nice one, too. A very nice. Pays cash for it. Pays cash for it. So full ownership was there, and her name was on each of these houses. Okay. Then guess what happens? Okay. Richard, I'm tired of that 74 Galaxy, and this is only 3 years later. I want a brand new 78 Cougar that I see them advertising about on TV. So guess what he does? Okay. I'll go buy you that 78 Cougar. Okay. So they have that, and it's only a year later, around 1979, her sister from Fort Worth would drive to Hamilton on Friday mornings and say, come on, Sandy, let's go to Fort Worth and let's party. And she would get in the car with this Arowana or the brand new 78 Cougar, and away she would whisk 120 miles to Fort Worth from Hamilton to party with her sister. Okay. And then guess what she does? She cheats on him. The poor man lets her get away with this. And it's in the year 1981. Guess what she does? She goes and gets her a lawyer behind his back and then forces him to sell that house and give her half the money, and then she takes the new 78 Cougar, leaving him without a house and without a car. But thank God he went to his family's only 12 miles away in Gustine, Texas. His benefits money, it built up. In about a year he had a small brick house built for himself and got him another new pickup. God bless him. I'm so happy for him. But then, you know, here we're in the year 81. You know, she goes to Fort Worth to party. Okay, with some of the remains of the money, she blew a lot of it on jewelry for herself. Yay! And then she buys this mobile home, which she still lives in today, the year 2018. And she burned all that money up, and she had to file for SSI, to where she only got initially about $5.90 a month, and then as of the year 2013, about $7.25 a month. But then guess what she does in the year 2013? Her first husband, my father, and my sister Gloria's father. My sister Cheryl lost her life in an auto accident in '93. She passed away at 38. But me and my sister Gloria, okay, the father of ours, my mother's first husband, my dad passed away in 2005. So in the year 2013, she files for my dad's back Social Security benefits. Guess what the government gives her? $98,000. $98,000. And guess what? Till this day, she's keeping it. And you know who she's leaving this money in her will to? This deadbeat bum that is a bricklayer that never filed an income tax return in his entire life. The guy is age 17. Excuse me, but speaking of morale, and what is right, that money is not hers. That money belongs to me and my sister Gloria. Every penny of that belongs to me and my sister Gloria. To where that should be split half and half and issued to us. But she keeps that and decides it's mine, mine, mine. Okay. And to her, this is right. You know, I talked to her 2 weeks ago. I actually hung up on her. It was about something else. I called and she said, I can't talk right now. I've got a doctor's appointment. You can't expect for me to just stay on the phone all day. And I said, Mom, I never keep you on the phone all day, but I'm not going to allow you to treat me like I'm your dog. I am a human being. You know, and I'm like, and then she said, well, what about things I did for you when you was a teenager? I bought your school supplies. Oh boy, no she didn't. That money came from my stepfather. That never came from her, so she's taking credit for somebody else's efforts. Oh boy, isn't this beautiful? So in other words, she threw away 3 houses after she divorced my dad in '67, had a new car every 2 to 3 years on average, but now she's going to stockpile and hoard what is my father and my sister father's Social Security back benefits in the amount of $98,000 and keep it for her wonderful self. People, that right there, I love my mother, but that is enormous, enormous arrogance. It is a person, they think that the world revolves around them and that they count first and that other people are only to get trimmings or possible small leftovers. She is 82, but she is very sound and mentally balanced. She's fully aware. So she is not senile, I assure you. But that, people, is what a narcissist is. Now, as far as how these people are going to face their creator later, I don't know. But hopefully I won't have to be there. I mean, excuse me. I mean, because let's turn this around. Her father is Haywood, which was my grandfather. Her mother is a woman named Elizabeth, which was my grandmother. Now let's say I received $98,000 from their back Social Security benefits. There is no way, if a government makes an error like that, I would correct that real fast. I'd say, Mom, this is money from your deceased parents. This is not mine. I would give it, you know. I mean, come on. But anyway, I wanted to share this. I hope I got this in the best chronological order that I could. And But, you know, people like this, why I say sociopathic, because when they literally think that this is right, and they don't know any better. Wow. Okay. But anyway, everybody, I hope you have a good day, good evening, good night, wherever you are, and Roger, over and out for right now. Later.